All right, hello guys. Today we are talking about what to do when a hike goes bad. Now, specifically what we're going to be talking about is every once in a while in a hiking journey, you'll go out on the trail, you'll kind of be hopeful, but things will just go terribly. You won't feel good. You'll get fatigued. You'll get cooked out from the sun or cold from the cold. You won't pack enough food. The trail will be rough or whatever it may be. And instead of this being an enjoyable experience and fun experience, it's just miserable. And even worse, if you are in the middle of a bit of a training process, this can often lead to you sort of having second thoughts and really doubting yourself. I'm like, is it all this hard work that I've been putting in, is it actually paying off? And it happens. It happens to everyone. It's something that we all go through at one point or another. And I really do want to dive into it today because it is something that you'll all run into and it's definitely worth talking about. Now, this podcast was actually inspired by a couple of messages I actually received from clients over last week. And they've both been out hiking on the weekend separately. One of them messaged me and was like, look, you know what? I had the worst hike of my life. She said the trail was an absolute nightmare. She said she didn't eat or drink enough. There was, struggling with the heat. And there were a few other bits and pieces. And ultimately, she sort of stepped off the trail. She bailed out, got picked up. And she said that was terrible. And she did not have a good time. And she was feeling pretty defeated afterwards. Now, the other one other hiker I got a message from was someone who the week previously, she'd sort of, pulled up with a little bit of a strain in her hip. And, her hip was feeling a little bit sore, a little bit dodgy, wasn't 100%. And she'd gone out on a training hike that weekend, hoping, all's be well. But, as she went along, again, super stinking hot day, she said she really struggled. She said things felt harder than it needed to be. She said she got cooked out by the sun. She said she felt really fatigued. And, again, at the end of the day, she was like, you know what, I'm really disheartened because, that didn't feel good. And I'm not in a really good place. And, as I said before, this will happen to every hiker at some stage or another. We'll all go through it, and it really does suck when we're in the moment. But what we want to do is once we've sort of dug ourselves out of those initial feelings of, disappointment and frustration, you can turn this into a positive in one small way. Essentially, what you want to do after a hike like this is you want to sit down and you want to assess every single thing that happened in that hike and every single thing that went wrong. So, for example, you might get a pen and paper and you might say, okay, look, I was too hot. It was a hot day. I struggled in the heat. And you might say, you know what? I didn't bring enough food. I was really tired and really hungry. And you maybe say, okay, you know what, I got an ache or pain or whatever it may be, and that began to flare up. And you might say, by the end of the day, my legs were getting jelly, or, I was struggling on the rough terrain, or I didn't have the right footwear, or I got a blister, or whatever. You can list down probably 5 or 6 different things that went wrong on that hike. And then essentially what you want to do after the fact, as you're reassessing this, is go down that list and come up with solutions for next time and small things you can change to reduce the likelihood of that affecting you next time, and also small things that you can do in the moment which can make you feel a bit more comfortable. So for example, in the heat situation, okay, super hot days hiking, that didn't go well. What can we do? Well, next time maybe I'll bring some extra water. Maybe I'll bring and take some extra electrolytes. That's an easy place to start. Maybe if I'm hiking in summer, okay, I've got to get up a little bit earlier because if I'm doing a 5-hour hike, I need to finish that before the midday sun gets there. Or maybe, if I'm doing summer hikes, I need to find trails which have quite a bit of coverage and it's not in the sun. Or maybe when you're feeling, jelly-legged and fatigued, it's like, okay, maybe I need to schedule more rest stops, or maybe I need to schedule more snack stops or whatever it may be. And maybe with the ache or pain, it's like, okay, look, I'm aware that this didn't agree with me this time. So maybe next time, if I do have a bit of a, an aggravation, a bit of a flare-up, or something's not going so well during the week before, maybe I need to adjust the hiking plans for the weekend. Maybe I need to reduce the distance, reduce my pack weight, whatever it may be. You'll all have specific answers to these different things. But the important thing is to go through all the things that went wrong, list down what you can do differently, and then do those things differently for next time. Now, it may be a case of you might not actually go out on a hike like this for quite a while. Maybe you're at the tail end of summer. Maybe it was a freakishly hot day. Maybe you decided you don't particularly like super rough trails or whatever it is. But the important thing is you write these things down and put it somewhere you're not going to lose. So 12 months down the line, 24 months down the line, or whatever it may be, if you come across a situation like this again, you can pull out those notes. And you'll be like, all right, you know what? I went through this. I remember it sucked. And this is what I said I'd do differently. And make sure you do. Because as I said, we'll all go through periods like this at some stage. It's not much fun. It really sucks, but it happens. And the important thing is once we get through that experience and once we've regathered ourselves, is to go through this assessment process, come up with action plans and make sure it doesn't happen again, or at least you minimize the effects of these things as much as you can next time. And from there, you can pull some positivity. You can teach this as a learning lesson and it can help you in the future. But instead, please, 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 just don't try to forget about it straight away. Don't try to push it to the side and not think about it again, because sometimes that can lead us into the aspect of just doing the same mistakes again and again and just hoping things will change. Be proactive, go through this process, and I really do think it will help. So that's probably enough for me today on that particular subject. This situation sucks. I've been there. You've been there. Everyone's been there in a hiking journey. It's not much fun, but do the right things coming out of it. Wrap your head around it. Use it as a teaching lesson, and hopefully it'll turn things around the next time. So thank you so much for listening today. I really do hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you got a little bit out of it, and I hope it can serve you well at some point in your hiking journey. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.